This is going to be your guide to Pam's Harvestcraft, including ways to make the mod a lot easier and work for you, including the addition of using a few other little mods with it. So the main thing is, how do you find all your crops, etc.? Well, you're going to be looking for gardens. Arid gardens, frost gardens. It's pretty obvious. The arid ones are found in deserts. The frost ones are found in snow biomes. We also have shaded, soggy, which are like in swamps, etc., forests, tropical, jungles, and windy, which would be big open areas like plains biomes, because imagine all that wind, whereas shaded would be shaded by the forest trees. That's how you find your gardens, and that's the kind of biomes you find them in. So what do we get out of these gardens then? Well, if I go into survival, when I break them, as you can see, I can get cactus fruit from the arid gardens, but also things like chickpeas and cassavas. I'm not going to go through all of them because, as you can see, there's an insane amount of food and produce that we can get from Pam's Harvestcraft. Frost gardens, you're going to be getting things like rutabaga, cauliflower, kohlrabi, and cloudberries. Then you've got your shaded gardens. This is going to be giving us things like rhubarb, leeks, tea leaves, white mushrooms, and truffles. Our soggy garden is going to be giving us things like blueberries, jicama, spice leaf, lotus, green grapes. And then tropical, we're going to be getting things like kiwi, soybean, green grapes, arrowroot, aloe, coffee beans, and the windy one is going to be giving us things like alfalfa, parsnips, onions, cucumbers, and flax. Again, not a definitive list at all, but the gardens are the best way to get these kind of things. If you're looking at trees, then you can find trees pretty much all over. You just want to keep running around different biomes. There's loads and loads of different saplings you can find, which is how you get things like the fruits that grow on Pam's Harvestcraft trees. Things like maple and paper bark and cinnamon fruit, well, the way they work is that you actually can harvest by right-clicking on the log itself rather than right-clicking the fruit that grows on the tree. And yes, you can bone meal the logs for cinnamon to get your cinnamon off the actual log itself. There's also going to be, obviously, a lot of recipes. Let's take a rambutan jelly sandwich. You can see here it needs a cutting board, a rambutan jelly, pecan butter or pistachio butter, any nut butters basically, and some bread. So let's take a look at cutting board. You can see it's very easily made. Rambutan jelly is made by rambutan, sugar, and a saucepan. So all of the recipes will use something like bakeware, which is made with terracotta, cutting board, a juicer, a grinder, a mixing bowl, a pot, a saucepan, a roller, or a skillet. You basically want to make all of these tools. Now, having all of these tools just in your action bar or in your inventory is going to be quite cumbersome. What I would recommend, if you can, depending if you're playing in a mod pack or you're making it yourself, etc., is installing the Cooking for Blockheads mod. The way this works, I have got a complete tutorial on it on my channel, but the way it works is you can go into the oven and it will show you everything you have available, like fresh water from Pam's Harvestcraft. You can just put a bucket of water in your inventory, in your crafting grid, and make 8 buckets of fresh water for your Pam's Harvestcraft recipes. The same goes with milk. Same thing with putting a pot and water, well, fresh water, which you get 8 of per bucket, will make you some salt. So what you can also then do with Cooking for Blockheads is get a tool rack, and I can just hang up my my tools on there, and now all my recipes in this oven will be able to use the tools I've hung up. So I would really recommend getting Cooking for Blockheads. You can add a sink, which will give you unlimited water for your recipes, a fridge, and you can add like upgrades like an ice upgrade to get unlimited snow, like for ice creams, etc. in your fridge. So Cooking for Blockheads works perfectly with Pam's Harvestcraft. There's also the farming for blockheads, which adds the market. And what you could do is, in here, you could just trade the little man that pops up. Here he is. You trade him with emeralds, and you can choose any of the seeds you want. And it basically will do saplings for Pam's Harvestcraft and seeds from Pam's Harvestcraft as well. If you're not sure how to get the seeds, well, if you want to grow your own crops, all I can do is get my cauliflower, put it in my crafting grid, and I get a cauliflower seed, which I can then plant and make as many cauliflowers as I want in Pam's Harvestcraft. I hope you don't mind me showing the cooking for blockheads bits and that. It's just a way of making Pam's a lot easier when you're playing it. Pam's Harvestcraft recipes can get quite complex, as you can see, for example, making a honey glazed donut, which adds 17 saturation and basically fulfills your entire hunger bar, will require a honey bottle, some batter, which is made from milk, and there's again the fresh milk or soy milk, with flour, and you have to make the flour by using a grinder with any kind of plants that give you flour, etc, etc, etc. And cooking for blockheads is going to make this a lot easier. If we look at batter, for example, I just want to show you the milk, like fresh milk. What I mean is with the 8 buckets, literally put a milk bucket in your inventory like that, and you get 8 fresh milk buckets. So rather than using 1 bucket of milk per recipe, you can then get 8 pieces of milk per bucket of milk, meaning you can make 8 pieces of food that require milk just from 1 milk bucket, which really makes things easier. And that is from cooking for that is from Pam's Harvestcraft that does add that. And there we go. That is basically everything you need to know to succeed at Pam's Harvestcraft. In certain mod packs, they will change the values of the food to make them give you a lot less, making your adventure a lot harder. But the premise is still the same on how you make the foods, etc. Thanks for watching, and before you go, I just want to say, if you want to join the Patreon in the description, that really helps support the channel, and you get access to our premium servers like this one here, which is currently ATM 10 at the time of filming. Of course, if you're watching a year after posting, it could be ATM 11, 12, or even maybe 13. We also do offer free-to-play servers, which you could just join the Discord to get, and if you'd like your own server, then check out the description for our G Portal 10% off with my link. Lastly, if you're new here, don't forget to check out the channel. I have an insane amount of mods available. As you can see, loads of tech mod guides, magic mod guides, utility mod guides. There is literally hundreds of guides that I have done. My goal here is to do every single mod in Minecraft.